Your Denver Broncos just made a sneaky, brilliant move that could pay dividends if this running game does not get on track this week against the Vegas Raiders. We get our last-second injury report for both the Denver Broncos and the Vegas Raiders and get some more good news about why we haven't seen the ceiling yet of this team. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would smash that like and subscribe button. So we are hearing, first off, we had Maxx Crosby a do not practice over the past two practices. My main man graphic Raider came on yesterday and said if it was up to him, they would shut Maxx Crosby down the rest of the season. He is a difference maker on defense. Although Pete Carroll came out today, I guess this would have been yesterday, and said we are expecting Maxx Crosby to play. But it is interesting that Pete Carroll is absolutely on the hot seat. He is coaching for his job. He's going to put players who are bruised or have a chance of getting injured out there because his life is on the line. And there are a ton of signals out there that Pete Carroll might be one and done. So you could truly see a situation where Raiders ownership steps in and says like, hey, it's not worth Maxx Crosby getting hurt because we are moving on from you now. And so it almost seems like these kind of things start to bubble up. Even though they owe him a ton of money, you have Diana Rossini, one of the most plugged in people. She doesn't speculate on that, and she came out and said like he is absolutely on the hot seat. So if you see Maxx Crosby not suiting up tomorrow, that is a very good sign that Pete Carroll is gone, because Pete wants every chance he has tomorrow at the Denver Broncos. Now, I don't think he has much of a chance, because I think the Broncos falling for a trap game, they already did that. That was the Thursday night debacle, that really windy game where the Broncos barely eked one out. I don't think the Broncos are overlooking them whatsoever, and our injury report is coming back about as good as you can possibly imagine here. We have Jonah Ellis making his triumphant return. Absolute difference maker, not only on special teams, but to be able to spell Cooper and Benito so that they stay healthy deep into the season is great. Then we saw Pat Bryant hop up on the injury report. That scared me a lot. He is a full go. He's expected to play as well. And then Zach Allen out of nowhere popped up on the injury report, which really scared me because we need to stop Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers are really the only thing on that offense you have to take care of. So not having Zach Allen would have been a major bummer, and he is a full go. The one player who is not going to be playing tomorrow is DJ Jones, although no one is expecting him to miss a ton of time. And so truly our goal for this game against the Raiders on Sunday is we need to come out of there unscathed and be on to the Green Bay Packers. We remember Bo Nix actually had one of his vertebrae fractured in meaningless time because the Raiders played chippy, and even though that game meant nothing to them, they played like this was an AFC divisional game. And so that's what we need to be watching, is we need guys popping up quickly and not getting injured in that game against the Vegas Raiders. We'll be rocking our all whites, which I think is a sick look there, so that's exciting. And again, injury report is about as good as possible. Now, the Broncos do basically have their plan mapped out already. We already put this on full display the last time we played the Raiders. So we know the first time we played them, Pat Surtain had that sick interception return for a touchdown that changed the whole course of the season. And Brock Bowers was eating our lunch. And then halfway through that game, they lined him up. And then the second time we faced him, you had Pat Surtain guarding their number one offensive target in Brock Bowers. That's exactly what we're expecting again. He held him to 4 catches for 38 yards, and we've seen this dude almost have 4 touchdowns in a game. So he is an absolute weapon, and I think he's going to be locked down by Pat Surtain. And I just think, man, of all times to be testing that pectoral muscle, putting your best defensive player on a very physical tight end, we just need him to hold up and not get injured, which I think he's going to. So then the Broncos' sneaky move here, as I alluded to in the title of this video, is the Broncos did some tryouts yesterday. They brought in 3 players, a tackle, a guard, and then a running back. Now, this running back at one point actually started to toast us. He played for like a small college in Conference USA. His name's Sincere McCormick, and if you recognize that name, he played really well against us. He played for the Vegas Raiders, a very, very talented runner, although a couple of games into last season, he tore his ACL and was never the same, but he was on target to have Raiders record books for average yards per carry over his first 10 games, and then he didn't make it quite so far. So he's averaging about 4.7 yards per carry, which is pretty fantastic. He is an older guy. He's already 25 years old, even though this will only be a second year in the league, but really like a dual threat running back, in that not only can he obviously run the rock, which we're going to show in a second here. He has great hands out of the backfield. You can just see Sean Payton loving that. To me, this is a little duplicitous. He reminds me of a less explosive version of RJ Harvey. They're both built that same size. But just seeing his ability, again, against the top talent, this is him against the Kansas City Chiefs, and just tearing up the interior of that Kansas City Chiefs team. And again, his ability as a pass catcher out of the backfield, doing those wheel routes, doing those little flanks is really cool. And that he can press that hole, find the space, and carve it up makes me really excited. And he didn't just do it against the Chiefs. He was looking really good against us. I went in the Wayback Machine and saw several tweets of the famous Broncos people we follow when this is against us right here, and you're like, who is Sincere McCormick? This guy's tearing us up. Like that was against your Denver Broncos defense, and then here he's doing it again against a really good Tampa Bay defense with Vita Vea. This was kind of at their heyday, so he looked really, really good. And the question just becomes, like, how is he coming off of that injury? He was, after the Raiders cut him, he ended up signing with the San Francisco 49ers, who moved on from him because I think he was kind of the insurance policy if Christian McCaffrey didn't stay healthy, and obviously he seems to be. And again, he just absolutely tore it up when he was at University of Texas San Antonio, and I think he was the Conference USA Player of the Year for 2 or 3 years in a row when he was there. I think this is such a smart move because everyone has been pointing out that, yeah, we went out and got Elijah Moore, and he's great, but like we need to have a running game going into the playoffs. So if the Broncos running game does not get going on Sunday against this Raiders team that has just been so porous against the run as of recent, then it's time to start pushing that panic button. And I like that Sean Payton has this fallback plan of like, hey, here's a guy in the NFL who we know has done it, a guy who wasn't on any of our radars and truly was kind of a surprise that he was cut from the San Francisco 49ers and that he's even available. And if the Broncos running game does get going on Sunday, then you don't even have to worry about it. But I do like that the Broncos are looking ahead and have a plan. As to why, like, you shouldn't panic about this becoming a trap game, Sean Payton came out and talked about that Thursday night game and how truly awful their plan was for that game. I don't know if it was the plan because they weren't planning on having 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts where the ball's even blowing on the ground, where Jeremy Crawshaw, the ball is blowing by the time he drops it, by the time it even gets to his foot to punt the ball. And so I don't know if that was the bad game plan, but you just know Sean Payton has not lost to bad teams when we are supposed to win. And there's so many of these games that were like, oh, trap game against Carolina last year, trap game against, Tennessee Titans. We don't fall for trap games, and I don't expect it to start this year. And then as to why we still haven't seen the ceiling for this Broncos defense, already they are one of the best defenses in football, and we're never scared that they're going to let up a score when it really matters. And I love seeing this advanced graphic here by Football Insights. And this here, the up and down axis is showing how often you are disguising your coverage and having to trick the teams like, oh, showing blitz, but really we're not blitzing. The Denver Broncos are having all of this success and they're hiding none of it. Like they are out front there like, hey, this is what we're going to get and we're still going to stop you. And I think that just opens up so much for Vance Joseph in this defense once we hit the playoffs and we do start disguising coverages because we're already playing at a lights out level and we're not hiding anything that we're doing, which makes me wildly, wildly hyped. Speaking of wildly, wildly hyped, I partnered with my main man, my friend Ryan, incredible graphic designer. I'll put a link to some of his stuff in the bio, but he and I have partnered up just in time for your holiday season to drop a brand new Sports Talk Denver merch store, and I'm super pumped about some of the things that we have in there. And if you order now, you can get it in time for Christmas. Perfect gift for you or a diehard Denver Broncos fan, designed by diehard Broncos fans. So love this. So a couple things we'll just show you quickly what we got going. Dig in this one. We know Nick Bonito calls himself the Bloodhound, and one of my favorite movies growing up was The Fox and the Hound, and so you got Coop and the Hound. Basically, this is rated PG because pastors, gird your loins because these dogs are coming for you. Let's check out one more. Love this one. Restricted airspace. Wanted it to feel like Top Gun-y, so we know you can't throw on this defense because we got the best defensive player in football, so we got a restricted airspace hoodie and t-shirt in there. And then I got to show Bo throws. We know Bo knows, but we also know he throws, and he throws touchdowns when it matters the most, and so loving the Bo throws. And then last, if you're a big fan of our throwback uniforms, but you also want to show that you rock with Sports Talk Denver, we got the Broncos throwback and ST Denver, Sports Talk Denver. So link is in the description of this, but great way to support the channel and all that we do here. Broncos are about to mollywop the Vegas Raiders and be 11-2 at the top of the AFC. Get you some of that. We got a ton to believe in. Woo! And the ball don't lie. I had extras because if I miss before game time, we don't win. So I was prepped. And if I had to dunk it, I would have.